Go for it. And we're live! Woohoo! Welcome along to the live stream, everybody. Welcome to Adorama TV. For those that don't know me, let me introduce myself. Hello, my name's Gavin Hoey. I'm one of the presenters on Adorama TV, and we are live from my small home studio. I know we've got a few people in the audience already. I've had a quick look backstage before we went live. So if you can see and hear me, can you do me a favour? Let me know where you're seeing and hearing me from, because that's always fascinating to find out. If you're new, if you've never been to one of these lives before, let me know. Are you new? And really important, if you cannot see me and you cannot hear me, let me know. We'll see if anybody does. That'll be fun. So welcome along to the live stream. We're going to be doing a load of portraits today, and there is a loose theme to these live streams. It is loose, but there is definitely a theme. And the theme for today is just one prop. I probably should caveat that right from the start. It's not actually one single prop, but one type of prop. That's kind of what we're going for, because props are really important. Props for me in portraits do a couple of things. They tell a story. They allow the story to come through in a picture. A prop can really add some context to a fairly straightforward portrait. But perhaps more usefully, if you're the model, you really appreciate having props, because there's only so much you can do as a model before it starts to get a little bit challenging. So props, really useful things to have. Now, once we've been going, I should say, I'm not here on my own. I've got a few people with me. We've got a model. I'll introduce you to Charlotte in a minute. Stay there, that's fine, because you can't see her, but you can hear her. Behind the camera on the Super Switcher is the awesome Sam.
Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? There are loads of people here.
Are there?
Yeah, they are from everywhere, We've got, I'm going to start at the top of the list, Chicago, Mexico, Essex, Germany, New Zealand, Holland, wow, Sweden, Indonesia, Argentina. I mean, everywhere. It's great. I love seeing where everyone's from.
That's incredible.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it, because it's really weird. It's just like the four of us in this little room. It's very, very odd, but it's nice to know there are other people behind the scenes watching us. And speaking of behind the scenes, you can't see it and you can't hear, but there is Freya on the... Actually, you're doing the Super Switcher today, Freya, aren't you? Sam's just doing the comments. Let's get this right. Freya is doing the Super Switcher. If you want to see and hear Freya, in around about 2 hours, 2 hours time from now, you're going to be live on Adorama XP on Twitch. So if gaming is your thing, or you actually want to see Freya for real, she's going to be live on Twitch in less than 2 hours. No warnings, but that's good. Okay, so let's crack on. So I'm not on my own either with just those two because I got the awesome Charlotte. Just come in, Charlotte. Come on, just bring Charlotte in. Round of applause for awesome Charlotte. Woo! Imagine imagine it. So Charlotte is going to be the model for this live shoot, and books are the theme for this live shoot, but I wanted to start really with nothing at all, just to prove how you can get a good shot, but just adding a prop just makes their life so much easier. Charlotte, does it make it easier having a prop?
It does.
It does, it really does. So I'm going to set a basic light up just to make sure that this is good. This is live. I should point out, if you're watching this live, it really is truly live. So it's not a question of things may go wrong. The question is, what will go wrong and will you notice? Because things do go wrong. If you're watching the recording, you know, welcome to the recording. It's a little out of our control, but if you're watching it live, you can ask questions live. Sam is there to grab some questions and she will fire the best ones at me. So let's set a light up. Now, what do we do? What do we do? The first thing on Adorama TV when we're setting up a lighting situation, what's the first thing we do? We take a picture without any flash to see if we've got control of the room lights. So I'm going to grab my camera, which I have not set up for tethering. That was, I always forget to do that. It's like, I know I'm going live. I know I'm going to need to tether. Good, there we go. We're set up for tethering. I'm going to dial some default settings in. They are likely to change, but it's a good starting point. I'm going to start ISO 200. I don't think that's going to change. I'm going to go with f5.6 and around about 250th of a second, my flash sync speed for an Olympus camera. Let's take a shot, no flash at all. Here we go, Charlotte. Most important shot of the day is going to be this one. Now, another good reason to do this is I have to change my laptop over, and I always forget. And sure enough, I've forgotten. Right, there we go. That was worth waiting for, wasn't it? Do you want to do a picture-in-picture, Frey? Because it's kind of like, there we are. I'm worried that everybody will think their computers have gone wrong. That's it. That is no flash, no picture. That means the room lights in here, which are really bright for video, aren't being recorded. They're not part of my picture. I've got control over the room lights. That's so important. Okay, so that's done. Next thing to do is just to get the basic exposure correct. So let's do that. So flash-wise, I'm using the Flashpoint Explore 300 as my key light. Why am I using the Explore 300? I was going to say because it's got a battery, and it has. I just had a minor panic. I'm going to hold this close to your chin, Charlotte. Here we go. And I'm aiming for f5.6. f5. So to get to f5.6, I'm roughly 1/16th power on that light. Okay, just to give you some numbers. Right, okay, let's take a test shot. Let's see what we get. Here we go. Let's actually make it work. That's another no flash, no picture. I'm glad you didn't put that on, Freya. Thank you. I appreciate that. She's got my back. Great. Okay, so that should be the lighting for this scene. It's all right. It's not bad.
You answer a question?
Yeah, of course we can. I'm going to put a light up behind Charlotte whilst you're asking the question.
Okay.
Go for it.
So Richard asked, what program do you use to show your images live?
That's a very good question, Richard. So I am using Olympus cameras. I'm using Olympus software. So Olympus Capture is the software that grabs the images from my camera. And then Olympus Workspace is the one I'm using just to put it full screen as it comes into my laptop. Okay, so background light. I just wanted to put something back there. I felt it was just a little bit dark. So that is an Evolve 200, a less powerful light, and it's down to 1/128th power. There you go. And I think that just looks a little bit better. It's quite a nice, safe lighting. It kind of works. So far, so good. I mean, I've taken worse. I could stop there, frankly. I mean, Charlotte, you're just brilliant. That's it. Just look at the camera and Charlotte has nailed it. Okay, let's take a few shots. Let's see what we get. So Charlotte, you're going to do your modeling thing. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. That's great. Love it. Fantastic. And as you can see, that to my eye looks a touch bright. Just going to take the key light down a tiny bit. Despite metering it, meters are only guides. You then have to refine it, of course. So Charlotte's doing a great job, but Charlotte is an experienced model. At some point, she's going to run out of poses. I mean, how many more ways can you pose when you're just sat at a desk? It's not easy. It's really not. So that's where a prop comes in. So let's give you a prop. We've got a bunch of books, and we're going to start with this book. Here we go. Look, this one. Which camera? I got this camera here. Okay, so this is a must-read. Okay, this is it. If you want to know where I got all my photography knowledge from, it was not this book. Here we go. Have a book. It's all about photography. It's fascinating. It's a real page turner. It's also written in the 1980s, so some of the pictures may not have made it through. So we'll make sure that they don't. Yeah, good camera angle. Well done. Okay, so given Charlotte a book, let's take a few shots now. Fantastic. So Charlotte now has something to interact with. There is more context to these shots. Why is she reading a book? Don't know. Good question. Is she learning about photography? Maybe. Does she like books from the 1970s? Unlikely. You never know. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, let's just stop there. That's worked really well. I should just check my shots. Let's just double check the sharpness and detail, because we often get on the live streams the quality isn't quite as good as it is on the pre-recorded videos. So it's nice to go and have a close-up look and check the detail. Excellent. Okay, so far. So that's not bad. If you are just joining us, because we're at that sort of time, welcome along to the live stream. If you've got any questions, pop them in the chat. We'll be happy to. Oh, there is a question. Sam's waving a card.
Not a question, but just to say that Seth's with us.
Seth is with us now.
Yeah. So Seth had a few issues with internet earlier, but there we go. Hey, Seth.
He was letting me fly solo, which is very brave. Very brave.
Madness.
Okay, so that works quite well. I'm going to change things up a little bit and give some direction to the shoot. So I'm going to switch out my lens. Let's just take that lens off, and we'll pop a longer lens on. So I was using my 12 to 40 millimeter Olympus lens, which is the equivalent of a 24 to 80 on full frame. I switched to my 40 to 150 millimeter lens, which is equivalent of an 80 to 300 millimeter on a full frame, because that means I can back up a little bit. In fact, yeah, there I am. I can back up. How far can I go? I think that's the shot I want. Perfect. Let's go with that. I don't want to be in the video. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do, I said I would give you some direction. I will. Charlotte, can you hold the book? Whoops. You hold the book up and keep it, yep, there. Perfect. Basically, I'm going to ask Charlotte just to look over the top of the book. No more complex than that. And I'm just looking for her eyes. Okay, let's see what we're going to get. Okay, not bad, but we need to modify this to improve it. Good start. I'm going to modify it by turning off that background light. I don't think I need it for this shot because it's much tighter. I'm also going to get your eyes in focus. Just drop the book down slightly for me, Charlotte. Okay, that's pretty good. That's getting better. And I think I can probably modify it even more if I move the light a little bit. So here we go. Let's move the light a tiny bit to the side. What are you reading on? The history of the pioneers of photography. Do love a bit of photographic history. We went to Laycock. If you ever get to come to the UK, go to Laycock, the home of photography. Fascinating place. Loved it over there. Okay, so we'll do that again. And I'll just raise myself a little lower with the book. There we go. So I've just added a little bit more angle to the shot just to put a tiny bit more contrast in. And I'm going to finish this bit off, I think, by adding a black and white instead, because I reckon this is going to look good in black and white. There we go. That definitely has a much more dramatic feel in black and white. That's fantastic. Let's go check. Did I get it in focus? Did I nail the eyes? Yes. I think we can safely say that's in focus. Nice little catch light in the eye. Lovely detail. Charlotte is a makeup artist, you can tell, can't you? Even in black and white, the makeup looks amazing. Superb. Okay, have we got any questions? Are we okay? Keep going. That's good to me. So that worked pretty well. Let me just grab my notes. Oh yeah. Trying to remember what we're going to do. Let's have the book. So many things to do. I had to write them down because I didn't want to miss any out. It's not the only book I've got. I've got a lot of books. So we've got a bunch of books here, and I think what we're going to do is make a little stack of books. So we'll put them in sort of size order, I think. I should say these are all Sam's books, they're not mine. I'm more of a wait for the film to come out kind of person, really. That's more my thing, but I don't know. Anybody read a good book lately? Anything you'd recommend for Sam? What's your kind of favourite book, Sam? You're more of a...
I don't mind. I'll read most things, actually. Something with a good story, obviously.
Something with a good cover as well.
Oh, I like a cover.
Yeah.
I totally judge a book by its cover. I'm a very shallow reader. But Charlotte loves books too. So she's admiring the dust and age on some of those, I think. So, yeah, you've got some fabulous books, haven't you?
Thank you.
Real
Yeah,
classics.
I do like my books.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to switch back, I think, to my other lens. We'll see. Maybe we can do it with this one. Let's see. Nope, we need to switch back over. So I'm going to switch back to my slightly wider lens. There we go. For this one, brilliant. So with this, I've made a little pile of books, and really the idea with that is it's just going to tell a little bit more of a story. So now there's more books. It's the same prop repeated in the shot. So I've given a book to Charlotte. I don't know if she noticed, but I just kind of thrust it towards her. Charlotte, I've given you a book. So that's going to be your book to interact with. And we'll work on the ones on the side in a minute. Let's just see if we can get the lighting nice for this. I'm going to do a test shot first of all. As always, if you're doing a test shot, tell your model, this is a test shot. Although sometimes my test shots are my best shots. I want to put that background light on.
Trying for a catchphrase.
Does that work as a catchphrase? Did it rhyme?
Almost. Yeah.
Oh, test shots are my best shots. It's more sort of a t-shirt, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so just turn the background light on just to separate Charlotte out from my background, which kind of looks nice. I like that. That's pretty good. What do we think of the table, though? I'm looking at the table, and I'm looking at the table on this side here, where it's a little bit bright. I could fix that in 10 seconds in Photoshop with a graduated filter when I'm processing the raw file. Or I can try and fix it now in camera, because those 10 seconds add up. And if you're doing a lot of photos, you might think, well, hang on a minute, 10 seconds, that's ages. So I'll try. I'm not going to guarantee it. This might not work. There's a high chance this won't work, but we'll see. I'm going to drop this down a little bit, actually, Charlotte. Let's bring that in here. I'm going to try and just grid this section of the table off with this very carefully. Notice how careful I was with that. Absolutely millimetre perfect. That'll do. Perfect. You don't know until you try it. I mean, we could use a modelling light, get an idea. Oh, Sam's waving, literally waving at me.
You take a question?
Yes, of course I can.
Okay, so James asked, do you have any thoughts on depth of field when shooting with props? Do you want both the prop and the model's eye sharp, or do you want to contrast one with the other?
That is a really good question, James. Yeah, I probably should have stopped and had a look, the joys of live, with the book when she was holding it up to her face. f5.6 on the slightly wider lenses that we use in Micro Four Thirds gives me more depth of field than the equivalent focal length on full frame. So I gain a little bit more. Effectively, f5.6 gives me the depth of field of f8. It's complicated. Let's not go down that road. So I gain a bit anyway, but you're right. Sometimes you want to have a depth of field for a purpose. Worth considering. Good point though, James. Okay, sorry, Charlotte, I'm reaching in. I'm going to stick to f5.6 because that's where I started. And I will change the right light. Let's change A, and I'm aiming for f5.6. And always in the middle when you're doing these things. There we go. Which camera am I on? Okay, here we go. So just to show you what I'm seeing, somebody did put in the comments last time, oh, we can't see it. So that's what I'm doing, okay? I'm looking at this little number over here, which is the F number. And the flash, when it flashes, will give me a number, and I'm just adjusting the power of the flash up and down until that says f5.6. I hope that helps. Okay. Did this do what I want? Remember, I'm trying to add a bit of shadow just across the desk. Let's see. Before and after. Slightly different in position, but yeah, it does. It's doing a little bit of shadow. Stick that on there, stick that on there, stick that on there. There we go. Actually, we'll just angle it slightly away. Oh, you often wonder why photographers just move things a few millimeters. It's because we're indecisive. We're trying to work it out. That's better. Just look at that front right corner. Oops, a little bit dark on. Of course I've paid the price. I've got one thing right at the expense of something else. Move that a little bit. We've lost the detail in Charlotte's eyes. Okay. That's better. That I think is going to be a happy medium. Darker on the table than it was before. Okay, let's take a few shots like this. Here we go, Charlotte. Yeah, like this. This is good. That's it. Looking down at the book. And hold the book up slightly. Yeah, you already had. Thank you. Way ahead of me. Beautiful. Okay, I've just changed my position. That's nice. Okay, looking towards the light for me, Charlotte. That will solve one of my problems. And just look up slightly. There we go. In fact, I'll just go slightly wider because I know that when I chop tops of people's heads off, people get annoyed. There you go. Did I nail the focus? Beautiful lighting. Really nice. Nice, subtle lighting, gentle lighting, slightly on the dark side, which I like. That's pretty good. Let's just put a little bit of a gap. So maybe you can just sort of rest your elbow. That's it. So we're going to get Charlotte just to rest her elbow. Yeah, you move them. That's fine.
Someone asked just now, it was Jacqueline, should one not have the books turned around so that the spines are not visible, so you don't have the distraction of what is on them?
Interesting. We'll try that. That's a really good point. We'll try that in a minute.
We were talking about this actually earlier, weren't we?
Yeah.
I love the spines, so...
There is a definite difference. I'll show you why I settled. And I didn't just choose Sam's because, you know, quiet life. Look towards the light for me, Charlotte. I did do it for a very specific reason. I mean, don't tell Sam that she's right. Okay, let's come back to this view again. So if I spin these around, ooh, they're off. So the spines are facing the light, and they have to face the light. If they faced towards you, they'd be in shadow, we wouldn't see them. So they need to have the light hitting them. Otherwise, they'd just be deep shadows. Okay, there's room for your elbow anywhere around about there. How's that? Okay. So, can you see how much brighter they've become in the shot? So now they're much more dominant in the picture than they were before. If I go back a frame, that's before, where they're there, but they're not really the focal point of this shot. Now they're almost, especially that top one, which is much newer than the others, they're almost the focal point of this picture. That's almost the brightest point. Now I could, of course, fix that in post. Let's just take a couple. And my advice is always the same. If you're not sure, do both. There isn't a right and there isn't a wrong. If you prefer the other one, then you got it right if it's your photo. If you don't like it and it's somebody else's photo and they like it, they're right and you're wrong. Okay, that's great. Last one. Boom, perfect. And stop there. Yeah, love that. So simple. And again, the props, imagine that without any props. And you're right back where we started 22 minutes ago. So yeah, pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to move these out of the way. And we'll set something different up. Where am I going to put these? Let's put them over there. So if you're joining us, welcome to the live stream. You're watching Adorama TV. We are live in my small home studio shooting just one prop, which has been a book. If you are watching the live, feel free to stick any questions you have in the chat. Actually, I think probably, Charlotte, it's best if you kind of make yourself... It could get a bit dangerous. Yep, there we go. If you're watching the recording and you have a question, stick a question in the comments. I'll try and get round to the comments I can on the newer videos. as much as I can. God, that was heavy. I thought I'd lost the tabletop when I was looking for it this morning, but we've got Steve the builder in who's doing some emergency repairs, and he was using it as a saw bench. So I found it. It was all good. Right, so what are we going to do next? I think we should probably just simplify this up a little bit and just go with more of a kind of wider shot, maybe a half-length shot instead of a head and shoulders shot. Just pop that over there, just make sure everything is good. So let's just set up a basic shot. So we're not going to add any particular styling. I'm going to let Charlotte do some modelling work by, well, getting her to do some modelling, I guess. Okay, Charlotte, you're going to be standing in front of this light right here. So come on through. Ooh. Okay, smart. I'm going to put the light behind Charlotte, beaming at this nice background. By the way, if you're interested in what this background is probably older than, well, it's definitely older than Charlotte. It's definitely older than Freya. It's quite old. I got this from a retiring photographer many years ago. It's a Elastilite, which is now Manfrotto background. And they do similar ones, Manfrotto, but this one is old. Okay, but I like the colour. I thought the warm tone worked really well, especially with what Charlotte's got on today.
I had a couple of questions about the size of your studio.
Hmm.
There was somebody earlier, and I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure if I got that right. It's from Denmark.
Did you pop it on the screen?
I want to go to Denmark.
Yeah.
So need to say it right. So question about your studio, how many metres square do you have to work with?
Oh, metres. Oh, I do it in feet because, I mean, we work in metres in the UK, but I'm of an age where we learnt feet. So if you can do a bit of conversion, it is 15 feet across. 3 metres is 10 feet, so it's about 4 and a bit. We had a 4 metre roll of something, just over 4 metres. 4 and a bit metres. So 15 feet this way. It's 17 feet that way, but most of that has been taken up by cameras and Sam and Freya. And it's 8 feet high. Well, it goes a bit higher, but there's some rafters in the way. So 15 by 17, roughly, by 8. It looks bigger in the videos. Trust me, it's not. And my favourite saying is, I need a bigger studio. And it doesn't matter how big your studio is, I suspect that's always true. Right, okay, so that's pretty good. Let's just set some lights and get them set correctly. Could not find my flash meter, despite it being red.
Even with a big red cover on it, you still can't find it.
I know.
You need it to whistle at you or something.
That would be good. Or I could just put it in my pocket and be good from there. But where would be the fun in that? Right, so we've got a 2-light setup here, a key light and a background light. If you're doing multiple lights, do one at a time. Break it down, do one light, work that out, do the other light. So I'm going to turn the background light off. I'm just going to work on the key light. I might actually go vertical for this, we'll see. Normally when I'm doing live stuff, I go horizontal, not because I particularly like horizontal shots. It's more a case of it fits in the screen that you're looking at a little better. I can tweak my camera. It's a 4:3 ratio sensor, so for uprights, that makes them slightly broader. Here we go. So you get a little bit more width for your money. There we go. Okay, so that looks about right. I'm happy with that. The background light, I'm not going to meter. I'm going to do that purely by eye. And if you're not sure, where do you start? Start in the middle of the power range. 1/16 power, which is going to be horribly bright, but we'll do it anyway. Okay, that's 1/16 power. Wow. That's awful. So I'm going to take it down to 1/64 power. Let's try that. And you can start to see the colour in this background. It's got greens and browns and blues. It's a really weird mix. When I first got it, I really wasn't sure. I think I put it away for years, and then I kind of evolved into it. I think 128th power is where I'm going to be. Let's just double check. Yeah, I just want a hint of something back there. Okay, so that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Nice lighting, all looks good. But what does Charlotte do? Charlotte, I mean, you're just there. I mean, you're a great model. Off you go, model. which is a horrible thing to say. But it is, if you're starting out in photography, in portrait photography, hire a model, because you can do this and let the models do their thing and you're going to get different shots. Great. But ultimately, it doesn't matter whether it's a professional model or whether it is somebody who is a reluctant model like we did last month. A prop is the way to go. So let's give you a prop. Let's give you a book. Book. What do we got? I think we're going to do this one. Here we go. It's a real page turner. This is the classic we're going to be going with. The Gateway to Romance. Look, there's a gateway on the cover. It's a lovely book. Somebody might want it back. Where is this? Christmas 1909. This book, and it was awarded to Lily Edith Blasey. Silver Street Girls' School, 1909. It's older than me. Anyway, there you go. So take care of it. It's over 100 years old. Just realised. Probably should have looked at that before. Okay. So let's have a little look. Brilliant. Okay, so straight away, Charlotte has something to interact with. Spin it around, Charlotte. Let's have the front of the book in, because I know everybody has been loving the front of the books, the details. But again, you can see on the lighting that it's just going to drop in. Just turn towards the light for me. So you're going to turn your whole body around. There you go. Fantastic. And maybe we can get you reading the book. Have a little look, see if it's I mean, it hasn't come out as a film yet, so I'm guessing it's not that good. That's my mark of a good book. Have they made a film about it? Okay. Fantastic. Yeah, if you can lift the book up, you're way ahead of me. What I need to do is just tilt the book back slightly. That's it. I'm asking Charlotte to tilt the book back so it just catches a little bit of the light. It's a dark book cover. It's always going to be dark, but I just want a little hint of light on there. Have we got a right depth of field? Yeah, we're all good. Okay, so that's quite nice. I like that. But can we do something a bit more interesting? Yes, we can. So let's do something a bit more interesting. I'll take the book off you. And let's set up some classic lighting. So if we're thinking classic lighting, what kind of classic lighting comes to mind? If I say lighting positions, a couple probably immediately jump into mind. What jumps into your mind? What am I going to be doing? What do you think? Stick it in the comments. What do we reckon? But they're a bit behind us, so, or are we in front of them? We never know whether we're in front or they're behind, because what I say now has actually already happened, or is it happening?
No, don't go there.
Yeah, it just makes my head hurt. Any thoughts?
Butterfly, Paramount.
Paramount, that's a good one.
Clamshell.
Clamshell lighting, yeah.
Rembrandt.
Let's do that one.
45.
Rembrandt, I like that. I feel painterly. Let's do Rembrandt lighting. So Rembrandt lighting requires a fairly static model. Rembrandt lighting is very, very specific. If your model moves that much, you've lost it. It's so tight. So you can't move. But we can set this up. So Rembrandt lighting, the way I do Rembrandt lighting is to start with my light almost at 45 degrees, but not quite. And take a little test shot. I'm going to go closer than I intend for my final picture, just so we can see the lighting pattern. And we're looking for the shadow coming off of Charlotte's nose. Charlotte, don't listen to what I'm saying because it sounds terrible when I say it. But you can see the little shadow there just coming off of Charlotte's nose. Okie dokie. So we're going to move the light around a little bit. We need that light to go just a little bit further around. Whoop, I'm stuck on my background. Rembrandt lighting with soft light is really difficult. Why did I say yes to this? Why didn't I do butterfly lighting? That would have been a lot easier. Okay. That's better. Okay. So move the light, almost nothing, but now you can see we've got the classic triangle of light. Nailed it in two. Catch lights in the eyes still important. Need to double check that. Classic Rembrandt lighting. Yeah. Baby step forward for me. Okay. Baby step forward, and we lose pretty much the entire of Charlotte's eye. I mean, there's a patch of light, but that's the difference. Baby step backwards, and a bit more. Stop there. Okay, that's the difference, and that's why Rembrandt lighting is so hard to nail. So what I need to do is give Charlotte something to do where she can't actually move. I've got a plan. You're not going to like it, but I've got a plan. Okay.
Not the nail gun again, is it?
It's not the nail gun, no. I'm going to give you some books because that's the prop of the day. It's books. In fact, Charlotte,
Like a workout.
I'm going to give you all the books.
They are quite heavy.
I mean, what we'll do, actually, I'm just going to put that, if you have to put them down in a hurry, just stick them over there.
Thank you.
No, never say I'm not thoughtful and caring. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, it's heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. It is, yeah, you're doing it right. That's good. Okay, so here we go. Let's just see where we are with this. Okay, that's pretty good. Like the light in the background, like the light on you. That's not bad at all. Okay, let's go vertical. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's not bad. Do you want to just pop the books down for a minute? Let's throw another light into the mix because we can. Yeah, you go for it.
So James asks, is it worth using the modelling light on the AD300 to quickly get to the Rembrandt lighting?
Oh my goodness, James.
Or is it simpler to just take the test shots?
James, you are absolutely spot on. Use the modelling lamp. Just use it. It makes it so much quicker and easier to do, and during the shoot as well. Now, why didn't I use the modelling lamp? Was it because I forgot? No, it might have been actually. But no, it's because to see it really work, I'd need to turn out all of the room lights, and it does make the video a little dark, if I'm honest. It's not impossible because the modelling light is really bright, but it kind of has unfortunate consequences for anybody that's doing anything live.
Have you mentioned the light that's behind Charlotte at all? Is there a grid on it?
Is a good question.
A few people have asked.
Frey, do you want to see if you can spin the camera around to that one? Let's see if we can see what you can do. I've given her a remote control. Here we go. That's pretty good. I'll zoom in for you. Look, here we go. We got the technology. Oh, that's the other way. It is... Oh, we should have done grid or no grid. No grid, just the bare light. Okay, so that is just the bare light in there. No grid. But if I needed to, a grid will come in handy, and I might use a grid in our last setup when we get to that in a few minutes' time. Okay, marvellous. Zoom you back out again. Something like that. Right, okay, where did we get to? Oh yeah, a little bit of fill light. So before you pick up the books, I'll just check and see if this is actually going to work. So I've now got a third light. I want this as dim as it gets. That's already way too bright. Far too bright. Oh, turns out I picked up the smallest light stand as well. Good job you can't see this. There we go, right. Okay, you could do the picture-in-picture frame. Just remember that, didn't you? Yeah, there you go. That works quite well with the uprights. Yeah, let's do that one. Okay. So, a little bit of fill light required. That's pretty good. I'll go wide just so I can see it. That's just throwing a tiny little bit of fill light into that mix. Right, have some books. Oh, it's really heavy. I'm glad I'm not holding those. You have to make the noise when you pick them up as well. Yeah, that's important. That's better. And what we've done is I've just added a hint of light. Can you see? So you can just see what's going on. There is another way I could have fixed this. Can anyone suggest another way I could have fixed it? There's a really simple way that's just dawned on me. Okay, stick your elbows out for me. Boom, lovely. I'm going to go black and white. I think this looks like a fine art shot, and a bit of black and white could be exactly what I'm after. Okay, actually I can think of two ways I could have done it now. Okay, that's pretty good. Of course, being fine art and black and white, it doesn't quite look as bright, so I'll just tweak my ISO to very quickly lift me up. That's great. Last one. Okay, and relax.
A reflector.
A reflector?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, there's a third way I could have done it. Anything else? That's a good one, actually. I didn't think of that. I could have used the ambient room light. I could have just let the room light, because it's quite bright, seep in, drop my shutter speed down a little bit. That would have worked. A reflector would have worked. The other way that would have worked, I'll just give you 3 to hold, is that way round. Okay, so I could have done this way round instead. Just to pop it on the screen, okay? I could have turned the books around and used the bright side that we were discussing earlier. That would have worked too, wouldn't it? Bless you. Didn't think of that. Okay, we're good. So we've got a couple of different looks with books. We've done Rembrandt Fine Arts. We've done Sat at a Desk. And we've taken fairly simple lighting setups and made them more interesting with a prop. At least in my mind, that's what I've done. So we've got one more to go. I'm going to set up the most complicated one. Yeah, I thought I'd leave this to last. Go on, out you go, because I'm going to start moving. Has anybody noticed this behind us? Has nobody noticed the big
I'm sure
piece of
people
wood?
have noticed it.
Anyone gone, I wonder what that's there for?
Well, you know.
Does anyone do that? I'm looking at other photographers' studios on videos and things and thinking, I wonder what they do with that. Maybe it's just me.
Maybe you're just really nosy.
Maybe I am. Right, you might want to mute my microphone for this, because there's going to be quite a bit of... Yeah, okay, bring me, am I still on? I'm still on, okay. So this was a brilliant idea. I thought what I would do, because I miss something from my old studio, I miss the lovely flooring. I had some beautiful old wooden flooring in my old studio, and I really miss it. And I should have brought it with us. So this was going to be my interpretation of that, which is basically a bunch of pallets. That wouldn't work. Can we try that camera? Yeah, there we are, that works all right. Which is basically a bunch of pallets, and I cut them all to pieces, screwed them all together, and realised that what I actually made was something that was too heavy for me to actually lift, so I couldn't move it. So I ended up cutting 1/3 of it off, and it's just about movable now. Also sanded it for hours, so it is nice and, well, smooth is not the word I'd describe it as. Not splintery is perhaps the best description, which is kind of important if you're going to ask your model to sit on it. Charlotte, by the way, you're going to be sat on that. She doesn't, anyway, it doesn't matter. So that's that. Let's bring some light in. Right, here we go. So this is a lamp that I was going to say I made, but that's not entirely true. Sam and I made.
Joint effort.
A joint effort that we made for the photography show years ago. The one that never happened. Made it for a trade show. And ironically, Charlotte was going to be the model for that trade show. So this is kind of nice. So I thought it would be nice to get it out and actually use it. Okay, there we go. So I've got a nice little dangly light, which we need to turn on. There we go. It's got the brightest LED bulb I could find at the time. And it is super bright. It's been in storage for the last couple of years, and I'll be honest, it's not survived well. But it was, I mean, Sam spent a small fortune on this. Any idea how much he spent on this, Sam?
Yeah, it was from the pound shop at Halloween.
So how much?
So it was £1,000.
£1,000, yeah. Yes, that's what it cost in total, which I think in dollars is about $50, isn't it? Something like that. Yeah. Does that work in our favour? No, I'm not sure it does. Other way around. Okay, so that's great. I'm going to actually set up a tripod for this shoot as well, because this is going to be a fairly fixed position. I'm probably not going to move much, and a tripod gives me a bit more room to play with away from the camera. And we'll come out of black and white because we don't need to be in that. Okay. Right. I can take a seat, have a breather. That's better. So I've got everything sort of set up here. I'll back myself up. I can just about see myself. I think I'm just in the shot. So my first shot, so if you joined us right from the start, you remember what I did as my very first shot. No flash, no picture. I wanted control of the room lights. Well, this is going to be the same shot, no flash, but I don't want no picture. Let me show you what I am actually getting. Let's focus up on the light. Okay, so have a look at my laptop. There we go, that's on. So that's what I'm getting, which is a glow. Okay, so I've got no room lights being recorded, but the light I want to have recorded, I am actually seeing. That's at 250th of a second. What's my aperture? f5.6. I'm going to go for f2.8, wide open. Okay, I had a question, a comment on one of my videos from a couple of weeks ago, which said, doesn't the aperture affect the, doesn't affect the flash? Or was it the other way around? There was some old saying that I'd forgotten about from years ago. Shutter speed affects the ambient and flash affects the aperture, or something like that. It's just not true. So this is wide open, and you'll see that the ambient is much more obvious in this shot. Much more obvious. I might need to turn the room lights down a little bit, which you can't see. Can we have the picture in picture? Let's go for that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's not bad. I can go even more. I can maybe go down to 100th of a second rather than 250th. I'm just looking at the light. I just want a little glow. That's better. I want a little kind of ambient glow, a little bit of fill, and a little bit of glow in this here. Okay, yeah, that's good. The inside's being lit. If I lit this with flash, I'd light the outside, but probably not really the inside so much. Okay, so that's that bit. That's the easy bit. I've worked out my shutter speed, 100th of a second. I've worked out my aperture, f2.8, ISO 200. Those are going to be the settings for the last 15 minutes of this session. Right, now comes the fun bit. In you come, Charlotte. So I'm going to get Charlotte to sit directly below the light. This is my master plan. Okay, so you'll need to come a little bit. Yeah, I might have to move that. Out you go. Yeah, we just need to move this. This is why I should have made it bigger. That's probably better. Yeah, that's good. Back in you go. It's not easy being a model, is it? People don't realise how hard you work. It's really not fair. So, okay, that's pretty good. Right, okay, so I can go slightly wider. And, okay, here's what we're getting. No flash, we're now getting that. So I'm getting a hint of Charlotte coming through, but, whoops, wrong button. Try and do that backwards. There we go. Hint of Charlotte coming through, but I'm okay with that. That's fine, because I know the flash is going to do most of the heavy lifting. Right. So that's done. Now we need to get some light directly onto Charlotte. Where should I put this light? I'm not actually sure. I guess we could put it in the front. Somebody said about butterfly lighting, and I guess that would mimic the light source, wouldn't it? So let's try that first. Let's grab a flash. Another flash. Let's grab a little... hang on a second. Just talk amongst yourselves. Here we go. A grip arm. Not a boom arm. It's not a boom arm. Don't call it a boom arm. Seth won't be pleased. It's a grip arm. If you want to find out about how to use C-stands, Seth is your man. Literally where I learned all about C-stands from. Okay, so that is a grip arm, and that'll allow me just to do a little bit of a boomed out shot. Just a bit. Of course, if you're going to boom anything out, you stick a sandbag on it, and there's always one around. And that leg goes up front. Okay. Is that right, Seth? Am I okay? He's probably not watching. Okay, there we go. So, front light like that. Up a little bit higher so I don't get it in my shot. Yep, we're good. And then I need to work out how much light is actually falling onto Charlotte. So, I could do trial and error, nothing wrong with that. But if you've got a flash meter, use a flash meter. Now, this is kind of important that I change my flash meter settings to match my camera settings. ISO 200, 100th of a second, And I'm aiming for, I'm going to hold this near your chin, Charlotte. Here we go. What am I aiming for? f2.8. Pointing my meter at the light I want to read until I get here. Here we go. Yep. Okay. Whoop, can you see that in the light? Just about. All shiny there. Here we go. So my shutter speed is on the other side because it's back to front for me. That's my shutter speed, 100th of a second. My ISO is at the top, and my flash at its current power, which is, whoa, can we make that work? 1/32 power? You might have to trust me on that. There you go, 1/32 power, yay! Okay, so those are the settings I'm using. I hope that helps those that like to know what's actually happening that they can't see. Okay, here we go, Charlotte, quick test shot. Right, okay, what do we get in? Yeah, well, what do we think? What do we think? It is lit, it is in focus. I got it dead center, you can tell by the shadow of the chin being, well, almost dead center, but I don't like it. Not you, Charlotte, the lighting. You're doing a great job. Keep doing what you're doing. All right, let's move the light. Okay, so we'll take this down. I think it's going to be way better from the side. If we were doing motivated light, if I was trying to reproduce light from that bulb above Charlotte's head, that would be the right place. But this, for my mind, tonight, this afternoon, this morning, depending on where you are, is definitely going to be more stylized. So I'm going to bring that in like that. Let's come in more from the side. This is going to cast a shadow, give some depth, give some 3 dimensions to this. So let's see where we are. Okay, oh, I should have metered it, of course, because what happens if you move a light? You change the exposure. Don't look at that one. Nothing to see here. Frey, did you put that on? Good, well done. Okay, f3.2, that's why it was a little on the bright side. And I'm back to f2.8. If you're wondering why I changed the shutter speed on my flash meter, it's because my flash meter is also a light meter. So it reads the amount of ambient light in the room as well. So it's important that that gets changed to whatever shutter speed you're actually using. Okay, test shot, Charlotte, here we go. Okay, that looks better. So, head back, oh, you were on, Frey's on the case. If I go back to, that was the overhead light. And it's fine, but the lighting is very flat on Charlotte. That is the side light. So now we have a lit side, a shadow side. Not that Charlotte needs any thinning, but it can be thinning light. It is certainly more flattering. It's more sculpting light. I prefer that in this scene. So that makes it the right light. Okay, that's pretty good. What about light behind Charlotte? We need something back there just to separate her out from the background. I could get my light. I don't know, anyone can spot a problem? I just put a light here. There we go, that'll be absolutely fine. We'll put a light there. Perfect, job done. I mean, what could possibly go wrong with that? Here we go, Charlotte. Let's just turn that light on. Here we go. I might have turned the light off. Oh, I did. Okay, here we go again. There we go. Can anybody see anything wrong with this?
New headgear, right?
It's yeah, let's just zoom in a bit for the, there we go. It's nicely in focus, isn't it? I mean, there was a day when I would take photos with things growing out of people's heads, but I'd like to think that I've moved on a bit since those days. I mean, we could Photoshop it out, but we need to do better than that. That's not good. So normally I can put a light in behind my subject. If I could get it low enough, I guess I possibly could. But that's as low as this light stand goes.
James said, Charlotte just needs a top hat. Very good.
We had one of those somewhere. I'm not sure it would fit. Right, so what am I going to do? I'm going to grab a light stand and a grip arm.
So all the equipment you're using today, or most of it, will be listed in the video description, is that right?
Quite a lot of it will be listed in either this video description or certainly any of my previous videos on Adorama TV. For those that didn't join us at the start, the key light is a Flashpoint Explore 300, and the background light will be a Flashpoint Evolve 200. So a 300 watt and a 200 watt light. They're all from the Flashpoint range. They all get controlled by the same transmitter, and that's probably more useful. Choose a transmitter that you like and then choose a flash system to go with it, because it's the transmitter that you actually interact with. Okie dokie.
You've got another question.
Fire away.
Which is T&P asked, you're doing great, we love your videos. How do you brainstorm your ideas for shooting? Why did you choose books to be the prop for today?
Okay, that is a good one. Who was it, TNC?
T&P Photography.
T&P Photographic. Hello, T&P Photographic. How did I choose this? Actually, I didn't. I mean, I think, so we kind of went through the ideas of what we were going to do live some time ago, and my idea was, let's do one prop. How did we come to books, Sam? I think that was you, wasn't it?
Maybe.
Sam's the book person. I'm the film person. I like doing the filmic stuff, and Sam is very much of the read a book kind of thing. So I think the books are definitely your department. Okay, so I've got a little light over the top, and I'm just going to beam a little bit of light back here onto the background. It's not going to be out of my shot. I just don't have the space in the studio. I wish I did. So there will be a little bit of Photoshop, but hopefully, if I'm going to do some Photoshop, here we go, Charlotte, hang on a second. Okay, here we go, Charlotte. If I'm going to do some Photoshop, I'd rather it was something that is way off to the side like that, but I can actually remove relatively easily. That's a dead easy clone. And I just can't move it any further because I've run out of room. So that's okay, but it's a bit on the bright side. That was on, no. Do you ever get that, where you take a picture and then you look at your camera and you think, no. My transmitter is saying 1/256, hang on. Let's find which camera am I on, this one? Here we go. My flash transmitter is telling me 1/256 power. But because I've just turned the flash on and I haven't changed it, this is actually on 1/64th power. It's 2 stops difference. All I have to do is just move it up and down one, and bingo. Here we go. See if you can spot the difference. That's 2 stops less light from the background light. But it's not quite what I want. It's quite a wash of light. I think I'd like a little bit more of a spot of light. So somebody asked earlier, did it have a grid in it? Which camera are we going to go to? There we go, grid. This is a grid. So this is a honeycomb grid. If light travels straight through it, it's absolutely fine. But the minute you look off axis, it blocks light. So it doesn't focus it so much as filter it. It just stops it going to the edges so much. And it does give a nice soft blend. This is part of the Flashpoint range that comes with 4 gels. Just get it for the grid. The grid on its own is great. The gels are lovely, but the grid on its own is brilliant. Okay, that will affect my background output. I'm going to take it up a stop. It's usually what we lose. Okay, can you spot the difference if I go back between these two? That's without the grid, and that's with the grid. Without the grid, with the grid. So it's just putting a little bit of light at the back of Charlotte, but not letting it spill absolutely everywhere, which I really like. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. Okay, so we've given Charlotte, well, nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, we need to give you some books, or a book. Let's give you a book. Here we go. What book should we go for? Should we go for this one? Okay, this is our book. There we go. Girdling the Globe. Anyone read it? Have we got any fans? Girdling the Globe. It's, I don't think this was stolen from a library. There's a little inscription. We're crossing from the UK to the USA, apparently.
Says Bishop of New York.
Bishop of New York. Yeah, it does. Yeah, there we go. And Kent. So here we go. We're in transatlantic and UK. Kent, where I'm from. Adorama in New York. Perfect. Okay, so this one, oh, it's got written notes in as well. People have written notes in it. Girdling. Anyone know what girdling means? Sam knows. And she only knows because she looked it up. Don't let her tell you that she suddenly knows what girdling means. She's looking it up on Google.
It's not gurgling either.
What does girdling mean? You can have a little look. Don't look it up. What do you think it means? Rough guesses. Polite family audience only, please. So if you get any guesses, Sam, let me know. Okay, so let's just take a few shots like this. Here we go. So now you have a book. Do you want to hold the book a little higher up? There we go. Lovely. Fantastic. It's a green book. So I think, just to finish this off, we've got, 5 minutes. I'm going to throw a little bit of colour in these. I'm going to throw some random colour. So that is fairly realistic colour. And I haven't done it. I should. I nearly forgot. If I want to have accurate colours, let me just give you that to hold. You just hold that, make sure your finger's on it. Brilliant. Thank you very much. And we'll just come in. My colour checker passport. Super useful thing to do during a shoot. Even if you're going to be shifting the colours around later, just so you've got an accurate and correct starting point for all of your colour work. Okay, so that's the correct colours, more or less. That is a white balance of 5,800, standard white balance. Let's whack it up to 9,000. 9,000 plus, I'm going to throw a little bit of green into the mix. So these are going to be only on the JPEGs. My raw files will still be the correct colour. But that is going to give me a little bit of a tone, a little bit of a tint, and that nice sort of vintage feel, which I think works really well with Charlotte's look today. Yeah, really nice. I like that. I might just pop the background light up a little bit. Did we get any girdling answers?
We did. We had Sean put surrounding, I think. Yes, I think so too, Sean.
I'm taking it that's correct then, if you think it is.
That's what Mr. Google said. Or is it Mrs. Google? Because we know everything.
Okay, let's put some more books in. We're down to the very end now. So last chance to get any questions in. Lights are set. I'm going to pop those in next to Charlotte. All we get to do now is just take a few photos. So it's the perfect opportunity to get your questions answered. Charlotte's going to be just modelling away. I'm going to be snapping away. I tell you what, I'm going to put my glasses on as well. There we go. Oh, you can't see that. That's good news. Okay. Just reframe this a little bit. Okay, what's the most important picture I'm going to take after the no flash, no picture? It's this shot right here that's coming up now. That one. Super important, that shot. Why is that shot important? Because when you're looking back at your pictures and you want to repeat this, you want to know where those lights were. Whether you take a snap on your mobile phone, whether you do it as part of the shoot, having a behind the scenes is useful for so many reasons. I think wide is the way to go. Do you want to shuffle your weight around a bit? You don't have to sit cross-legged, because I don't know about you, but my legs are hurting just watching you do that. Okay, that's great. Beautiful. Really good. I've stopped talking because I'm actually forgot. I'm actually just doing the shoots now. The shots. This is great. This is the bit of the shoot I love, when it's all set up and it's all working, and I can just keep going. Okay, love it. Last one. I'm going to do one last wide shot. Bang! There we go. Superb. Well, there we go. That brings us to the top of the hour. Wow, that was fun. Sam, have we got any last questions, or am I good?
We're mostly there. There's a lot of questions we didn't quite get round to, but
genuinely thought no one was asking any questions.
No, there's a lot of repeats of the software that you're using to tether would be a good one too. Yep,
if you missed that from earlier, then the software I'm using is I'm using a Tether Tools cable to connect my Olympus camera to my laptop. My laptop is running Windows 10 and Olympus Capture to do the transfer of images into a folder, an Olympus workspace that displays that folder full screen as soon as they come in, and it's really quick. So that is specifically for Olympus cameras, but your camera manufacturer has their own version, or Lightroom or Capture One or whatever you need to use, you'll get them in. So it's a great little system.
Just let everyone know they're able to watch this back again if they want to.
Yes, I mean, that's a very good point. If you've got to this point live, I mean, well done. If you've stuck all the way through this live, unbelievable, well done. But if you are skipping through and you miss the beginning, or you sort of jump through and you think you've missed something, this is going to live on Adorama TV like all of our lives, completely unedited, which is always reassuring, forevermore. So you can go back and watch it again at any point. And of course, we have more lives coming up over the next few weeks and months. So we're going to be live again in 4 weeks' time today. 4 weeks' time today, we're going to be live. Can we tell them what we're doing? Is it a secret? Don't think it's a secret. We're going to go on location. We're going to go out, we're leaving the small home studio, we're going on location, and I'm going to talk you through how I do a location shoot. I won't tell you what the location shoot is yet because it is super exciting. So I'm really excited for that. So join us for that in 4 weeks' time. If you want to catch more of the Hoey family, Freya is going to be live in less than an hour on Adorama XP on Twitch, where she's going to be playing a computer game. Are you playing Mario Kart tonight? Is that what you're doing? Mario Kart? No? Donkey Kong? No? She's looking at me like I'm mad. So go join her over there if you want to go watch some amazing gaming. And yeah, I might be on in 2 weeks after that. Oh goodness, okay, that'd be fun. Anyway, so that brings me to the end of the live stream. I'd like to thank a few people. I'd like to thank the awesome Charlotte. Woo, Charlotte did an amazing job. Superb. We've got Sam and Freya behind the scenes. You can't see them. You can hear at least one of them.
Thanks everyone, thanks for all your questions and answering everyone else's questions as well on there. They're very, very good at that. Thank you.
Fantastic. Seth in the background, again, you can't see him and you can't hear him, but trust me, he is literally pressing the on and off button. We could not do this without Seth. Thank you, Seth, that's superb. And but mostly thank you guys for actually being here. I can't do these unless you're actually watching, so I really appreciate it. Thank you for all the questions. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.